Are you trying to grow your YouTube channel, but it feels like it's taking forever? I totally get it. It took me 2 freaking years just to hit 2,000 subscribers, but then in just 2 months, I hit 3,000 subscribers. And now I'm growing at over 800 subscribers per month. And I'm gonna share with you the 3 things I did differently to see this growth so that you can explode your channel too. If you're new here, hi, I'm Molly. I started as a college dropout with just 81 cents to my name, and I leveraged that into a multiple 6-figure per year photo studio. Then I started creating content for other photographers and grew that into a $2 million per year online education business. And now I help content creators just like you to monetize your following with digital info products so you can help your following on a deeper level and make a full-time living doing what you love. Okay, so when I first started my YouTube channel, I had no freaking idea what I was doing. I just knew that if I put in the effort and put out 1 video per week, that it would pay off in the long run. I was seeing all these creators making money from AdSense, sponsorships, selling their own physical products or digital products. And I just knew for the longevity of my business that that would be a really great thing to put time and effort into. And with my photo education business, I started that with a blog, and that worked really, really well back then. I paired it with Pinterest when Pinterest first came out, but I knew with this business, even though YouTube would be harder than say blogging or just focusing on Instagram, I knew that it would really pay off in the long run, and it has started to do just that. So in the very beginning of my channel, I really didn't know what I was doing. So I literally just made videos about anything that I wanted to, but I did stick to putting out 1 video every single week. So I did make sure to be consistent, but my videos ranged from everything from vlogs in Costa Rica to vlogs of digital marketing conferences to sharing what's on my desk or what I do for productivity or how I sold certain things. It was all over the board. There really was no rhyme or reason other than it was for business owners. And I did make sure to hire an editor from day 1. So I actually have 16 years experience as a professional photographer. And I knew the number one thing that was going to take up my time would be the dang editing. And even when I had my photo business, I always made sure to outsource my editing. First of all, it's just not really something that I enjoy. I also find it to be quite a waste of my time. I could be ideating on other videos. I could be recording other videos. I could be growing my business. I could be creating digital products to sell and selling digital products. There's just so many other things I could do with my time, and the editing just doesn't give me a good monetary return on my time. Also, when I first started, I didn't have any SOPs. SOP stands for Standard Operating Procedure. It's basically a fancy 3 letters for a checklist. And I didn't have any of that in place. I didn't have any procedures in place for how I'm going to come up with ideas, how I'm going to record videos, how the editing's going to be, how we're going to create thumbnails. I didn't have anything like that. In the very beginning, I mean, it kind of makes sense. I was just really trying a lot of things, and you can't really make checklists and procedures until you actually start to see what's working. Maybe you can relate to a lot of the things I'm sharing in the very beginning that were struggles, but I'm here to tell you that there were 3 main things that I changed that took my subscribers very consistently from 150 a month to over 800 subscribers per month in just 1 month's difference. Again, it took me 2 years to get to 2,000 subscribers and then just 2 months to get to 3,000 subscribers. So here's those 3 things. Okay, so the number 1 biggest change that I made was niching my channel. I know there's a lot of people out there that just create lifestyle content and vlogs and things like that, and maybe that will work for you, but for me, niching my channel completely exploded my growth. So here's what I mean by this. Again, I shared with you earlier how I was just making content about literally anything that had to do with business, and I actually set up a call with a mentor, and he looked at my channel and he was like, well, what do you talk about in your business and what do you sell? And at the time, I was just focused on helping people with courses. But after teaching that and really looking back at my journey, I realized that I started with digital products and then I added on courses to scale my business. And so I really wanted to go forward with the niche of digital products in general. Then I could help people with things like ebooks and guides, but also courses as well. And he thought that was a really good idea to go all in on the niche of digital products. And right away, I did start to see an uptick. But here's something else that when I did it, I really started to see that explosive growth. And that was really narrowing in on who I was talking to. I know a lot of people talk about this when you're creating products, but the same thing goes for your YouTube channel. So before, I was basically just like, oh, I'll help anyone create a course. And I dabbled in, I'll help service providers make a course. But what I realized was that when I started selling digital products, I was a blogger. I was a content creator. And I was seeing a lot of my students who already had followings were getting way faster results than the other students. Now, obviously anyone can create a digital product or a course, and you can help help anyone with your digital product. But it's really important for you to narrow in on that one ideal client to go forward with your marketing messaging. Now, obviously other people can come and buy your products, but you want those people to be as close to your ideal client as possible. So not only did I niche in from business content to digital product content, but I also niched in from just helping anyone to specifically talking to content creators. And this played a massive role in the growth of my channel. Okay, so let's go on to number two. Number two is package your videos to get clicks. Okay, now this is something that I have really learned from taking a lot of different YouTube courses and watching a lot of videos about YouTube online and just really studying about YouTube. The packaging really is that important. If you scroll back through my channel, you'll see that my older videos, the thumbnails, well, they sucked. And I didn't really understand like CTR, which is for click-through rate. I didn't understand that that was really important, but it makes a ton of sense. If somebody isn't even clicking on your video, then obviously the chances of them watching your video is zero. So you really need to take the time to focus on your thumbnails and your titles. And this in the beginning really threw me for a loop. I was just like, I don't really understand how to create titles for YouTube. I don't really understand how to create good thumbnails. So here's what I did. I started looking at other similar channels to mine on YouTube, and I started paying attention to their view to subscriber ratio. So typically if one of their videos has a lot more views than they have subscribers, that typically means that that video did really, really well. And odds are, in order for that video to do well, they have to have a good click-through rate. So that would mean that their title and thumbnail did well. So what I started to do was I made a list of all of these thumbnails and titles from similar channels that did well, and then I started to use them as templates. Now, I didn't copy them exactly word for word or the exact same design. I always tweaked something about it. And of course, you know, my video would be different, my photo would be different, the colors typically would be different, all of that good stuff. But what's cool though is when I started to do that, I really started to notice what elements inside of a thumbnail worked to get a high click-through rate. Now, as far as the titles, modeling other people's titles has worked for me, but I actually recently discovered something that works even better. Now, if you're like me and you have a lot of experience with email marketing, then here's how I like to think of it. I like to think of creating good YouTube titles like creating good email subject lines. And that for me was a brain explosion moment. Like as soon as I started creating just good titles in general, that's when my video started taking off, because it's no longer about ranking for search. It's all about simply creating videos that people want to click on. So a thumbnail that grabs their attention and a title that makes them want to click and actually watch the video. Now, if you don't have experience with email marketing, just create titles that people want to click on and really try to keep them short and sweet, and think, if I put this title out there, would I want to click on it? But if you do have experience with email marketing, that has been a total game changer for me. The way that you write a title that works for a blog or an email is the same way that you're going to write a title that works for YouTube. Okay, now last but not least, the third thing I did to really explode the growth on my channel was using a certain framework in my videos. Let me explain. Now, I don't script my YouTube videos word for word, but I do use bullet points. So I actually have my script right over here, and I'll kind of take you through what I do. So the first thing I do is I have what's called the hook. And you already heard that at the beginning of this video. I say, are you trying to grow your YouTube channel, but it feels like it's taking forever? Like that's the hook, right? And then I go into the intro, like, hi, I'm Molly, this is my story. And I have had a lot of people tell me not to do that because, oh, it's better for your retention to get into the video faster. But I actually tested it and my retention is higher when I share my story. And I think it's particular to the thing that I teach. I think it's important for me to set the standard of like, I do have experience. I do know what I'm doing. I've done over $8 million in digital product sales, and that makes people want to watch the video. But depending on the niche you're in, you know, you might want to test that and see if that's worth it for you. Then I go into a story about the thing that I'm teaching. Then I go into a framework, typically a 3-point framework. As you can see throughout this video, we're on point 3. And then I usually go through the explanations either per point or after I've shared the 3 points. Then I typically have a call to action, which is usually to download a freebie to get further help. And then I have a call to action to watch the next video, which will help me to grow my watch hours and of course help my viewers to consume more videos, which will help them more. So here's the thing though, I've tried different frameworks that are like listicle style, where you say like 10 digital products that sold blah, blah, blah. And you simply just list out all the different types of digital products. I've tried like a 3-point teaching system where you just talk about 3 different points. I've tried just winging my video videos. But this particular script I learned from watching one of Alex Hormozi's talks that he gave at some kind of live conference about social media. And he essentially shared that he does like the hook story framework, which I also have learned about this in Russell Brunson's Expert Secrets books. And so when I heard him mention that, I was like, oh, duh, like this is a framework that I've been hearing about for years. And it just again shows you that something that works for you somewhere else can also work for you on, say, YouTube. So, you know, if you write your emails a certain way and that works for you, that might work for YouTube. Or if you do something a certain way on Instagram, that might work for you for YouTube. So again, this framework is hook, story, framework, explanation. And again, I tried like 3 to 4 different scripting frameworks. And once I switched to this one, it just made total sense to me. It also put me at ease for recording. It made it easier for me to talk about what I wanted to talk about. And my videos really started to take off from there. So again, the 3-part framework is number 1, know your niche and exactly who you're talking to. Number 2, package your video to get clicks. If they don't click on your video, they're not gonna watch your video. And number 3, try different framework scripting teaching styles to see which one is easiest for you to deliver and which one resonates best with your YouTube viewers. And by the way, growing your followers on YouTube and social media is awesome, but did you know that growing an email list is 40 times more effective for sales than social media? And that's why in every single video, I mention one of my free downloads. That way you can get further help and get on my email list where I share even more tips completely for free. And I also talk about the different ways that you can work with me. So if you're interested in getting my free funnel that will help you move your social media followers to email subscribers, go to the link in the description below this video to download it right now completely for free. And now that you know my 3-part framework for improving your YouTube channel for explosive growth, you might be wanting to learn how to monetize that growth so that when it happens for you, you're ready to start making money so you can go full-time as a content creator. But how do you do that? Well, it all starts with watching this video next here, because when you pair what you just learned with what's in this video, it's gonna be so much more powerful. See you in the next video.